Welcome to the Outer Wilds text adventure. uh, this was recently released on the Outer Wilds, I believe it was Mobius's website. This was basically just the test for Outer Wilds story that they made before the full game. So I'm gonna start up a new game. You wake up next to a campfire near your village's launch tower. Today's the big day. In the sky, you notice a bright object flying away from Giant Steep. Uh, First thing I did was pull out the signal scope when I played Outer Wilds, so I'm going to scan for signals. From Dark Bramble, Giant Steep. There's a traveler frequency. Here's where the frequency is coming from. That part of the planet, I guess. Timberhearth? Oh no, frequency coming from Timberhearth. And looks like we also don't have the Adelrock, even though that was in the alpha. Comet? No signals? This is interesting. Oh? There's also... There doesn't seem to be a, Rebec on Brittle Hollow. Alright, let's go back to Timberhearth. Chat with your fellow townsfolk. Oh, you explore the village. You chat with your fellow townsfolk, and they wish you well on your expedition. Continue. Left click to hike here. Oh, to the observatory. You reach a small observatory perched on a ledge overlooking the village. Use database. Okay. Let's explore the observatory, learn the launch codes. You peruse the observatory museum's collection of artifacts brought back from previous space expeditions. Also, I think that might be the Owl Rock behind the text here. There's a large exhibit on the Nomai, a mysterious alien race that inhabited your solar system thousands of years ago. Very little is known about them, but many of their ruins can still be seen on various planets. You talk to the curator and receive the launch codes. Your ship, the Orange Triangle, is ready for takeoff. For liftoff. On your way out the museum, the eyes of a Nomai statue start to glow. You see a bright flash, followed by a series of strange images, including the sun going supernova. Well, that just happened. Alright. Probe. Can we go to our ship? Leave sector? Ah, there we go. You leave Timberhearth. Alright, I'm gonna check out Giant Steep. Giant Steep is a turbulent world home to massive tornadoes and a huge spherical ocean. The small islands that dot the ocean surface are often lifted into the atmosphere by passing tornadoes, causing them to fall back into the ocean with a tremendous splash. As you approach the planet, you notice a small Nomai space station in low orbit. Technically, isn't Earth's ocean also kind of a spherical ocean? Maybe a little bit. But you know, other than the core, Giant Steep is all ocean and sky. I'm gonna check out the probe. You explore the Nomai space station. Information added to database. You discover a heavily damaged Nomai space station in low orbit around Giant Steep. Closer inspection reveals that it's actually a probe launcher of some sort, although it looks like the probe has already been launched. A nearby computer terminal indicates that the station was damaged during the launch of the probe. in that a module called the Echo Chamber broke away completely and fell into Giant's Deep. Also, I thought there was going to be music because the title screen had music, but I don't think that's happening anymore. I'm just going to turn on some... you know what? For copyright reasons, that might not be the best idea. I will add some music in post. Or, you know what? I'll just play the Outer Wilds soundtrack. Actually, I've got an even better idea. Calm video game music. Space video game music. What can be more appropriate than that? Sorry, my computer is running pretty slow right now. Alright. Video game music, space, and it starts 14 seconds in, of course, because YouTube. That would just be a bit quiet. Alright. Discover a heavily damaged Nomai space station in low orbit around Giant's Deep. Closer inspection reveals that it's actually a probe launcher of some sort, although it looks like the probe has already been launched. A nearby computer terminal indicates that the station was damaged during the launch of the probe, and that a module called the Echo Chamber broke away completely and fell into Giant's Deep. The Echo Chamber. Okay. I'm gonna scan for signals. Here again. Yep, it was right there. So let's explore Zen Island. Small wooded island. I explore the Zen Island and meet a fellow traveler who tells me that something fell out of the sky and sank into the ocean not too long ago. They also tell you that one of the other travelers made several attempts to reach the bottom of the ocean. Unfortunately, that same traveler left on a mission to Dark Bramble several years ago and hasn't been heard from since. I'm gonna probe over here. You see giant jellyfish drifting up and down through the ocean depths. Can I try flying here? You try to dive underwater. Looks like this path is only traversable from the other direction. You try to dive underwater, but a strong surface current prevents you from submerging more than a few hundred meters. You see a violent storm cell full of tornadoes. You see a small island with a pile of otherworldly black rocks. And an island with an antenna reaching into the sky. I'm gonna check out the antenna island. You reach a small island with a strange antenna reaching into the sky. A strange antenna... You find a passage leading inside the island where you discover a strange ancient device. A clay pot rests on a pedestal in the center of an energy field. The pot starts to slide off the pedestal. and shatters on the floor. There's a bright flash of light, and you watch as the broken pieces reassemble themselves back onto the pedestal. The pot tumbles to the ground once more, and the cycle continues. The Nomai records you find are fairly cryptic, but it sounds like they wanted to build a much bigger version of this contraption, provided they could generate the massive amount of energy necessary to run it. Structure that looks like a dream catcher. Let's check it out. Notice fine grains of sand on a flat circular platform at the center. Alright, head back to the ship. And then I'm gonna fly to the Quantum Island. Oh. Oh shit. What's happening? Wake up in a campfire. Next to a campfire near your village is Launch Tower. Today's the big day. In the sky you notice a bright object flying away from Giant's Deep. Small observatory. It says there's question marks here. Brought back from space expeditions. Nomai. I already read that and saw it myself. I'm gonna fly to this ancient mine. Ruins of a Nomai mining operation. Let's explore it. The Nomai were mining this crater for raw materials. Judging from the amount of excavation, they must have been building something enormous. There's also a dreamcatcher-like structure near the edge of this crater, and you notice fine grains of sand on a flat circular platform at the center. The grotto. Rocky grotto with a pool of deep-looking water. Discover Nomai research and analyzing the single-celled organisms they found living in this grotto. You peer into the depths of the pool. You spot an underwater tunnel. A hidden path to the village. Traverse through underwater passage through the center of the planet to reach a tiny rustic village. I don't suppose it'll just have people... Yeah. I'm just gonna wait it out. In the sky, yep. Right, I'm gonna head over to the moon. To Moon. Hi, Moon. Discovered the ruins of a Nomai observatory. They were trying to pick up a signal from something called the Eye of the Universe, but no signal was ever found. Okay. So they had less hints pointing you to things in this text adventure. Let's check out the Quantum Moon. As you approach the Quantum Moon, a strange mist starts to obscure your vision. The mist completely engulfs your ship, then dissipates as suddenly as it appeared. You scan your surroundings, but the Quantum Moon has mysteriously vanished. That's by Giant's Deep. Let's head to Sandy Hourglass Twin. The Sandy Hourglass Twin is a largely featureless desert except for a few massive ancient structures. There are 4 cylindrical towers of various sizes encircling the equator. 2 massive antenna-like structures protrude from the north and south poles. Okay, so that must be the antenna-like structure that we saw in Giant's Deep as well, maybe? An enormous funnel of sand stretches from one hourglass twin to the other. Sand is flowing off the surface of the sandy twin and draining onto the canyons and caverns of the rocky twin. Alright, let's check out this antenna-like structure. Giant antenna protrudes out of the sand and towers above you. You find what used to be a hatch leading into the center of the planet, but it has been sealed shut. Oh, this one has holes. Let's check out the one with holes. Reach an ancient tower riddled with holes. Let's explore you. There is no ceiling, and as the planet turns, you watch the heavens rotate above you. At this particular moment, Timberhearth is directly overhead. Suddenly, the tower fills with light, and the world around you vanishes. You are teleported to a new location. I am? I don't seem to be. Model tower. Crack tower. Alright, I'll check out the crack tower. Center of the tower, there's no ceiling, plant turns. Rocky hourglass twin is directly overhead. And then you reach a very large ancient tower. You notice the sun is getting awfully big and red. Walk onto the small circular platform in the center of the tower. There's no ceiling, and as the planet turns, you watch the heavens rotate above you. Riddle Hollow is directly overhead. So, was I supposed to be teleported here? I don't understand what happened. The Twin Towers. You're 2 small ancient towers connected by a short walkway. Sun is going supernova. Let's go back here. Alright. Rocky Hourglass Twin. Chill out for 1 minute. Brittle Hollow. Hourglass Twin. Brittle Hollow. Does this ever do anything? Hourglass Twin, Giant's Deep, Brittle Hollow, Timberhearth. World around you vanishes. And it says that I'm teleported to a new location, but I am just not. Alright, that seems to not be just working. Oh? You explode the time loop central. You're inside a huge spherical chamber at the center of the sandy hourglass twin. The two giant antennae you saw outside extend below the surface and converge within an elaborate coil-like piece of Nomai technology. At the center of the chamber, this must be the source of the time loop. You discover a transmitter that automatically tells the Nomai space station in orbit around Giant's Deep to launch a probe at the start of each loop. The time loop machine requires the energy from a supernova to alter the flow of time. The Nomai tried to artificially make the sun go supernova thousands of years ago, but their attempts were unsuccessful. You eventually find a way to the center of the chamber and find what looks like the interface to the time loop machine. Do you want to disable the time loop? Nah, let's keep it going. Alright, well. Oh. Yeah. Didn't think about that. Alright, Rocky time. Crisscrossed with canyons of striated rock dotted with cacti and harbors enough surface depressions to hint at an elaborate underground cave network. An enormous funnel of sand stretches from one hourglass twin to the other. Sand appears to be flowing off the surface of the sandy twin, draining into the canyons and caverns of the rocky twin. Scan for signals. Alright. Let's go to the south. You reach a dried up lake bed with a small campfire. Meet a fellow traveler who is busy scanning the night sky through a telescope. They tell you of the quantum moon, a celestial body that moves when you're not looking at it. Apparently, the Nomai were extremely interested in it for some reason. As you roast a marshmallow, the traveler explains that the enormous crater you're sitting in used to be a lake filled with water, just like the dried up canyons used to be rivers. The traveler tells you of a secret cave entrance at the bottom of the lake bed, and mentions that the Nomai may have discovered something strange down there. Is this the underground floor of a large cylindrical tower? Is this the secret cave, or is this the secret cave? See, dark cave with no way out. Fuck it, we ball. You reach a dark cave with no way out. You find the remains of a Nomai research outpost, including the skeletons of the late researchers. Disturbingly, the skeletons move whenever you stop looking at them. This creepy behavior is being caused by a shard of strange black rock in the center of the cavern. According to Nomai researchers, it originates from the moon that wanders. The researchers discovered that the quantum shard causes nearby objects to become quantum as well. This even works on living things, provided it's too dark to observe yourself or your surroundings. Can I chill out and end up somewhere else? You become entangled with the quantum object. You climb on top of the quantum rock and turn off your flashlight. Oh, so you can click those. Okay. It's so dark that you can't even see your hand in front of your face. When you turn the flashlight back on, you're still standing on top of the quantum rock, but your surroundings have changed. I'm now in a small cavern. Let's check this room out that we ended up in. At first, this cave seems unremarkable, but eventually you notice that sometimes, if you look away and back again, a large slab of unnatural-looking rock appears in the center. Oh? I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna quantum entanglement. Let's see if there are any other places to end up doing this. doesn't look like it. I don't think I have time for anything else. Let's check this out. Crashed escape pod. Discover a crashed Nomai escape pod. According to its logs, it was launched from somewhere inside dark bramble. The Nomai seem to have immediately retreated underground to escape the intense heat from the sun. Frequency identified. Distress beacon. Alright, we have another avenue for exploration. I'm gonna check this out. Oh shit, I found an underground city. What do we have here? Cliff dwellings nestled amongst the stalactites and stalagmites and an enormous subterranean cavern. You know, I can never remember the difference between, or which one is stalactites and which ones are stalagmites. Because, like, I have two different memorizations, whatever you call them, for this. One is stalactite to the ceiling, and the other is stalagmite fall. So both of them, according to those memorizations, are on the ceiling. So it's probably stalagmite fall and stalactite to the floor. But yeah. Looks like the Nomai lived here for quite some time. Fossil site. Reach a large cavern with an enormous fossil. Far side of the cavern, you find a massive anglerfish fossil embedded in the cave wall. Its lure still has a faint glow to it. Nearby, you find the rules to what sounds like a children's game. One player, the anglerfish, would close their eyes and try to catch other players, the escape pods, as they attempted to sneak past the anglerfish and reach the goal. Over here, you reach a cylindrical chamber lined with large metallic rings. Gravity cannon. Looks like this chamber was some sort of cannon that Nomai used to launch spacecraft to other planets. Over here, the map chamber. You find schematics for a giant machine with Nomai with a giant machine that Nomai constructed on the Sandy Hourglass Twin. The machine was designed to harness the energy from supernova. The control center is located inside a hollow cavity at the center of the planet, but is simply completely sealed off from the surface. Okay. That looks one way, so I'm not going to go that way yet. What do we see over here? Cramped cavern filled with skeletons. That sounds morbid. Do I have time? Oh, come on. I can... It says it takes 1 minute to explore. It should be able to explore, and then the sun goes supernova when you hit continue. Or anything else. Come on, developers. Get on it. I know this has been untouched since, like, 2015. Because you made the actual fucking video game, but come on. What do we see over here? A canyon filled with arched rock formations. I'm gonna head back to the escape pod for now. Head down to the secret refuge. This place is a tomb. Ancient skeletons litter the ground. On the wall, you find a mural showing a nightmarish comet in the sky above the Hourglass Twins. You reach a narrow canyon filled with arched rock formations. Find an old Nomai stargazing site perched at the top of the canyon. The Nomai noticed a certain moon that would randomly appear in a different location whenever it was observed. They speculated that this moon that wanders might be related to the Eye of the Universe, and resolved to reach it. At the bottom of the canyon, you discover two cave entrances leading underground. Gravity Cannon, Underground City. It was a lot easier to get to the Sunless City in the text adventure. Alright, I'm gonna go this one-way way. Yeah, alright. Sun's going supernova. Yay! Alright, let's get off of this rock and go to another one. Oh, that's right. I was like, oh, what's this planet? I guess I want to explore some more of Giant's Deep right now. I don't think we went here. Violent Storm Cell. Let's check it out. You fly into a turbulent storm cell where massive tornadoes roam the ocean surface. You accidentally fly into one of these and are briefly launched into the upper atmosphere by the tornado's powerful vortex. You plummet back down to the surface where you discover a small Nomai research station. It looks like the researchers were monitoring the tornadoes and reporting their findings to the observatory on Brittle Hollow. Alrighty. Still can't go there. Pile of otherworldly black rocks. Right, that's the Quantum Island. Small island with strange antenna reaching to the sky. Did we explore this fully? The Nomai theories that these rocks originate from the quantum moon that sometimes appears in orbit around Giant's Deep. They also discovered that, oddly enough, observing an image of the rocks had the same effect as observing the rocks directly. Can I... Doesn't help you right now. Cool. I guess just check these for any additional things. Already been here. Alright. I think I have explored Giant's Deep as much as I can right now. I'm gonna go to Brittle Hollow to see if I can find the other thing. Also, I should check for signals. Brittle Hollow is both brittle and hollow. Oh wow. No way. The surface is under constant bombardment from its volcanic moon, and every so often a piece of crust breaks free and tumbles into the black hole at the center of the planet. Watch your step. Still can't... You can't visit the volcanic moon in this version. Tree-filled crater with smoldering campfire. Alright, I was gonna scan for signals. There is a traveler frequency, but... Oh, it's over here more. I don't know how to get there yet, though. Any distress beacons? Oh. Do I have anything else? Quantum fluctuations. Oh. Alright. But the traveler's up there. So maybe... Hold on. Tree-filled crater with smoldering campfire. I bet that's the way to find the traveler. Ancient escape pod. Tower jetting through planet's crust. That had quantum signal. I'm gonna fly here. Let's check it out. You discover an abandoned campsite and notes belonging to a fellow traveler. It appears they left not too long ago to investigate the ancient ruins at the North Pole. Another note mentions the existence of newer ruins to the south. I'm gonna go to the North Pole first. You reach a wooded clearing with a burning campfire and find a fellow traveler strumming a banjo next to a campfire. They tell you about a mural on the nearby ruins to the south that depicts the journey of the Nomai to your solar system. Apparently, they came here looking for something. Don't have enough time to go down there yet, so I'll just check cliff dwellings. Explore the cliff dwellings. Excuse me there, Mike. I didn't mean to push you over. You discover an ancient mural with 5 panels. Panel 1 depicts an interstellar Nomai vessel receiving a signal from the eye of the universe, depicted next to your solar system. Panel 2 shows the vessel trapped in dark bramble. The vessel. Oh, the one that was just mentioned. Panel 3 shows 3 escape pods being launched from the vessel. Panel 4 shows an escape pod being pursued by a giant anglerfish. Panel 5 shows 1 escape pod crashed on Brittle Hollow, 1 crashed on the Hourglass Twins, and 1 crashed in Dark Bramble. Well... What's happening? Gonna check out the other direction in Brittle Hollow now. Alright, that's the tower. Glacial Shelf. You reach an icy cavern with an alien structure that looks like a dream catcher. I'll check that out in a minute, I think. Cavern with ancient technology, or ancient research station dangling precariously over the black hole. And the ancient tower. Alright. Let's check out the research station. You find a Nomai research station analyzing the black hole at the center of the planet. The Nomai used this research to develop a new method of teleportation, which is a new type of transportation, involving 2 components, a transmitter tower and receiver platform. These teleporters only activate when the transmitter is aimed at its corresponding receiver. The Nomai constructed a network of these teleporters, 1 for each planet, on the Sandy Hourglass Twin to facilitate the construction of a giant machine on the Sandy Hourglass Twin. So... The Nomai constructed a network of these teleporters, 1 for each planet, on the Sandy Hourglass Twin to facilitate the construction of a giant machine on the Sandy Hourglass Twin. I don't think I've explored this. Fine grains of sand, of course. Alright. Ancient Observatory. You explore the ancient observatory and discover what looks like an analysis of weather patterns on Giant's Deep. According to the findings, most tornadoes on Giant's Deep have strong upward winds, but some tornadoes rotate counterclockwise and have downward winds. You find schematics for a large probe launcher that was built in orbit around Giant's Deep. In another corner, you find records that the Nomai observed the quantum moon in 4 locations: Hourglass Twins, Brittle Hollow, Timber Hearth, and Giant's Deep, noting that sometimes it would vanish completely. I guess it never goes around Dark Bramble. Alright, check out Quantum Tower. You discover ancient records about the Quantum Moon. The Quantum Moon sometimes visits a 5th location outside the solar system. The Nomai discovered a way to ride the Quantum Moon to this location, where they witnessed the source of the signal. Oof, sun is getting awful big. Let's check the escape pod crash site. Discovered crashed ancient escape pod. According to its logs, it was launched from somewhere inside Dark Bramble. Looks like the Nomai evacuated the crash site and headed for the North Pole. Which is where we find our traveler. Alright, resetting. What happened? I think it's time to explore Dark Bramble, but also maybe the comet, because that one drawing in that one place. Welcome to the comet. Let's check it out. You reach a barren, icy surface. Discover the remains of a small Nomai spacecraft on the comet's icy surface. Its records indicate that it was launched from the Hourglass Twins on an urgent mission. Okay, so there's an ice cave here. You explore the cavern inside the core of the comet and discover a strange glowing material frozen in the ice. Nomai skeletons are everywhere, presumably the ill-fated crew of the spacecraft on the surface. Alright. Don't know what that means, but let's go to Dark Bramble. Dark Bramble is a twisted mass of thorny vines shrouded in fog. Shards of ice and rock float around its perimeter, remnants of the host planet it outgrew long ago. Now that the sun is growing bigger and hotter, Dark Bramble is returning to life after a long period of dormancy. Few dare to venture into Dark Bramble's murky depths, and fewer still, specifically none, ever return. Turn back. You have so much to live for. Nah. Group of flowering vines. Light shining through the fog, 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 light shining through the fog. Oh, that's a lot of places where light shines through the fog. Bramble outskirts. Let's check this out. Reach a group of flowering vines. You explore the outer perimeter of Dark Bramble, where the tips of its thorny vines end in massive alien-looking white flowers, along with a few bluish ones. That's cool. You notice a small opening near the center of each flower. Do you want to move in for a closer look? Yeah. As you approach, the flower opens and a strange force starts to pull you in. You desperately try to escape, but it's no use. It's no use! Take this! You are unceremoniously devoured by a giant space flower. You can hear yourself being digested as the world goes black. Cool. Nah, I ain't got nothing to live for. Let's check this out. Crashed escape pod. I found it immediately. You find the barely recognizable remains of a Nomai escape pod entangled in a web of vines. You also find a cave in a nearby asteroid where the remaining Nomai took shelter after the crash. The survivors discovered that Dark Bramble is actually a giant interdimensional carnivorous plant, and theorized that if they could get a tracking device inside of the vines, they might be able to follow it back to the roots of Dark Bramble, where the vessel crashed. That's interesting. No, I don't think Dark Bramble is supposed to still be a carnivorous plant in the full game. Let me check that again. Information is added to the shipwreck. To the database, I mean. did this say? If they could get a tracking device inside one of the vines, they might be able to follow it back to the roots of Dark Bramble where the vessel crashed. Oh. Traveler frequency, distress beacon, quantum. Alright. Oh, I think this is where the signal was. Anglerfish skeleton. Meet a grizzled traveler living inside the skeleton of a dead anglerfish. Its lure is still glowing. Maybe it keeps the other anglerfish away. Even though he's been stranded here for quite some time, he doesn't seem overly eager to head back to civilization. In return for not telling anyone his whereabouts, he tells you about a nearby location that holds a secret to reaching the center of Giant's Deep. Okay. Frozen jellyfish. Find a giant jellyfish frozen in a floating chunk of ice. It doesn't appear electronically charged, so you move in to investigate. You examine the specimen and discover a hollow body cavity just big enough to fit a person. Is this what the traveler was talking about? Oh yeah. I'll just fly here. Fly towards the shining light. You realize it's actually the lure of a huge anglerfish. You try to turn around, but it's too late. The anglerfish devours you in a single bite. The world goes black. Is Dark Bramble the only planet that can kill you? I'm gonna explore all of these. They're probably going to mostly be anglerfish. Oh, another anglerfish skeleton. Meet a grizzled traveler inside the head. Tells you about a nearby location that holds a secret to reaching the center of Giant's Deep. Interesting. World goes black. Sweet. Whoops, that wasn't the right one. Is this the one? Shit. Wait, does it change? Oh, it changes each loop. Okay. So this one is where the distress beacon goes now. If they could get a tracking device inside one of the vines. Lost vessel doesn't help. Tracking device? What do you mean that doesn't help right now? Oh, wait. What if I use the children's game? Doesn't help right now. Oh. Come on, I wanted to... Fuck you. Alright, what if I go here and I don't take a closer look? Or what if I use tracking device? You launch your probe at one of the strangely bluish flowers, and it is promptly ingested. You follow your probe's tracking signal as the vine's vascular system carries it deep into the heart of dark bramble. You're so focused on following the probe signal you don't notice the glowing lures until it's too late. You've flown straight into a nest of anglerfish. Children's game. Suddenly remembering the rules to an ancient children's game, you switch off your engines and silently drift into the nest. None of the anglerfish seem to notice, and you safely reach the other side. You resume following the probe signal, and it's not long before you reach an ancient derelict ship tangled in the roots of dark bramble. Yes! You explore the derelict, and eventually... Isn't it derelict ship? I don't think derelict is a noun. And eventually find the bridge. Although the ship's life support systems are dead, a few computer terminals are still running on some sort of auxiliary power. You find records of the original signal the Nomai received from the Eye of the Universe. According to their analysis, whatever the signal came from must be older than the universe itself. You poke around a bit more and discover that the ship's warp drive finished recharging a few hundred years ago. Yeah, let's use the warp drive. You try to use the warp drive, but apparently it won't activate without destination coordinates. Cool. Let's see, what was... Giant Steep. Here's the storm cell. I'm gonna use the rogue tornadoes. Violently propelled deep underwater by a strong downward vortex. This ocean is mid. You fly around underwater and admire the giant electric jellyfish that swim past your viewport. Right. Jellyfish. You abandon your ship and swim inside a passing jellyfish. It drifts downwards into the abyss, taking you along for the ride. Now in the abyss, you explore the inky depths and discover the echo chamber that broke off the Nomai probe launcher. Inside, you discover what appears to be a massive data archive. As you poke around, you gradually realize that these data archives were designed to preserve information across breaks in the flow of time itself. At the center of the chamber, a projector displays the cumulative trajectories of hundreds of millions of probes that were launched out of the solar system in every possible direction. It looks like one of them successfully located the Eye of the Universe. You make sure to jot down the coordinates. In the text adventure, it was hundreds of millions of probes. But in the original, 1.0 release of Outer Wilds, it was only 9,000. Alright, have I... Okay. And then these places I've been to... So I have the coordinates now. Can I just go to Dark Bramble and leave? I'm gonna talk to this traveler. Okay, Gabbro is seemingly not your time bro in this version. Tracking device, let's do it. Oops. My bad. Let's use the warp drive. You input the coordinates to the Eye of the Universe and try to use the warp drive, but it refuses to activate due to the to the presence of a massive temporal distortion. Ah. And I went to the wrong one. I meant Sandy. So if I go here... Whoops. Time loop central. Hopefully I have enough time to escape. You know what? I'm going to... Let's re-enable the time loop, actually. And then, I'm just gonna restart. Oh, apparently you can't turn it back on. Please tell me I still have the database, okay. I went to the wrong one. I meant explore. Let's disable you. Oh, we don't have much time. This takes all of your time. The ancient vessel warps to the coordinates of the Eye of the Universe. Vessel's warp drive is officially spent. Looks like this is the end of the line. You see something that you don't understand. The Eye of the Universe. You explore the Eye of the Universe. As you approach the strange energy cloud surrounding the Eye of the Universe, you see the last few stars die in the distance. The universe has become a pitch-black void of nothingness. The cloud dissipates as you reach its center, revealing a strange spherical object floating in space. Beneath its shimmering surface, you see billions of tiny lights. I never did the quantum moon, I just realized. Beneath its shimmering surface, you see billions of tiny lights. As you get closer, you realize these lights resemble clusters of stars and galaxies. Every time you look away from the sphere and back again, the configuration of stars and galaxies changes. You fire your jetpack thrusters and move into the sphere itself. For the briefest moment, you find yourself floating in a sea of stars and galaxies. Suddenly, all of the stars collapse into a single point of light directly in front of you. Nothing happens for several seconds, but then the point of light explodes outwards in a spectacular burst of energy. The shockwave slams into you and sends you careening away into space. Your life support systems are failing, but you watch as energy and matter are spewed into space in all directions. After a while, your vision fades to black. Yay! Oh, it just closes straight up. Alright, much shorter than Outer Wilds proper. Also... oh shit, I completely lost my database. Alright, I just gotta visit the quantum places again. Alright, go to the observatory. Back to the ship. Oh, that's wrong. Alright, quantum fluctuations. Wait. And this was the last one, I think, right? Ah! What's happening? Alright, this is the wrong place. I need to talk to you so I can get the information about the cavern. Then check this. Then I have all of the quantum rules. Alright. Use a probe to take a snapshot of the moon mere moments before it's utterly obscured by the encroaching mist. Plunge into the mist, making sure to keep an eye on the photo you took just moments before. Suddenly, a huge shape materializes out of the mist. You've made it to the surface of the quantum moon. The quantum wetlands? Surface of the moon is covered in water. The small ethereal jellyfish floating above it change locations when you're not looking at them. I got to a quantum research station just at the very end. Oops, snapshot. Go here to the cabin. You keep your gaze fixed on the log cabin so it doesn't change locations as you approach it, and walk inside. There doesn't seem to be anything of interest, although it's extremely dark in here. Turn off your flashlight and the world becomes pitch black. When you turn the flashlight back on, your surroundings have changed. Quantum desert. The surface of the moon is covered in sand and populated with cacti that change locations when you're not looking at them. Tower. Wetlands. Alright, we've been there. Ooh. Surroundings have changed. You see a lone figure standing in a field of quantum rocks. Quantum shrine. So in this one, the quantum tower changes depending on the setting as well. You walk onto a flat expanse dotted with piles of quantum rocks that move when you're not looking at them. To your great surprise, a living ancient stands before you. Ancient Nomai stands before you, probably. No, it doesn't say that. The ancient tells you that the quantum moon is actually a piece of whatever the source of the signal actually is. It gestures to the sky, and you look up to see a distant otherworldly energy cloud surrounded by hundreds of quantum moons. The ancient doesn't know what it is, except that it seems to be the root cause of all quantum phenomena. If that's true, then what is inside the cloud, and what could happen if it's ever observed by a conscious entity? The surface of the moon is covered in ice. A few craggly trees and a couple of ancient lamps change locations when you're not looking at them. What's happening? Cool. Alright. I'm glad I checked that out. Obviously, it's not nearly as fleshed out as the full game, but still, it's a pretty neat look into game development. And if you've watched this far, thank you for watching. Bye.